Hi, my name's Sue Ellam. I'm a tarot reader of 25 years standing, and I use the Mythic Tarot, which is based on Greek mythology.
Hi, I'm Carrie Beleno, intuitive Reiki master teacher, spiritual life coach, and we're asking you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a daily message.
Yeah.
And today's question is, what is forgiveness?
Oh, I've had discussions about this, and
Me too.
it's quite an emotive word, isn't it?
It is.
Forgiveness.
And funny, not funny, I just watched Carolyn Miss's take on forgiveness this morning.
Oh,
So
really?
there's a lot of language around forgiveness.
Yes. It's like, what right have we to forgive? You know. Okay. Forgiveness is making willing sacrifices of one thing for something better. So this is, I see forgiveness as a way of getting it into getting it right in our heads in a way, So it's about compassion in a way, and it's not saying that I am higher than you and therefore I forgive you. Sometimes it's about forgiving ourselves, so we can get a bit tied in and a bit kind of married to the idea of we don't deserve forgiveness, or the other person's hurt us and they don't deserve kind of our forgiveness, which isn't saying that maybe they didn't do something purposefully or anything, but if it's not so much about forgiveness per se as coming to terms with it and being prepared to move past it. That's how I see it, really, that word. So we need to make willing sacrifices of our feelings of either disgust with ourselves or our feelings of anger with somebody else. And that can fill quite a big part of us. And if we let go of that, we can feel quite a vacuum. So it has to be a willingness to move forward, to change something within ourselves, to embrace the other, embrace ourselves, and then move on to something better. Because when we do, we will get rewards for the efforts we're making, and we'll free up. Can be to do with financial freedom as well. But things will come our way that will reward us quite instantly from this feeling of, I forgive, or I choose not to beat myself up or beat you up anymore about this particular issue. And from that, it kind of raises the energy so things can start flowing through freely, because we can get a bit stuck and get quite dark in energy when we're holding this kind of it's a dark energy anyway, when you feel you're not kind of forgiving people. We also would invite other people into our lives, people we don't know very well, or even the people that we've not forgiven for something that we think they've done. Those people can come forward, and when we are in a place of forgiveness or place of moving past it, we can talk with them and then find out maybe there was nothing ever to forgive. We've misunderstood, that we didn't understand them well enough. They didn't understand us well enough. And it can be a renewal of a relationship, and getting to know that other person better. And especially when it comes in within, intimate partnerships as well, that can be life-changing, because there's so much lack of forgiveness about certain issues when you're living with somebody, but we don't understand. What comes to mind is that song about pina coladas and walks in the rain. Do you remember that song? When they both, partner, this married couple are both bored with their relationships, and so they go on dating sites and they get blind dates and find out they meet each other because they didn't know about each other, that they both like pina coladas and walks in the rain, because they'd never talked about it. So I thought that just popped into my mind with this, when you don't really know the people, you think you do, but that's your assumption. We need to make plans for the future. We need to build, I think this came up yesterday, we have to build a structure, and set goals. How will I get into a place that I won't have to forgive myself for things I haven't done properly? What goals do I need to set? Do I need to, I've got an exam coming. If I commit to studying to the exclusion of all else for the next 3 months, then I will be very well prepared, and I won't have to forgive myself for failing through not having applied myself. Things like that, and not holding people up to a higher standard than we have for ourselves as well. Then we won't have any reason to so say forgive them for things they've done, because we'll understand they're human too, and maybe part of it was our fault because we didn't make ourselves clear enough, or we misunderstood. Again, when it comes into the word forgiveness, it's important to talk. Give yourself a talk, or talk to the person you feel that has wronged you in some way, or a situation. Look into it. Make sure that you're absolutely clear that your assumption is correct, because sometimes it's not, and it's based on our past. It's based on other triggers. Other people have treated us badly, and we kind of take that mantle and we'll put this onto the new person. It triggers us, but it's our assumption, and it's not necessarily anything they've said or done. We're also going to be able to, it's just all about this kind of freedom of expression. Once we've come into a place, peace of mind, really, because when you're holding grudges and this, whether you're not forgiving yourself for something, or whether you're holding grudges against other people, we can't move forward. We're stuck in that energy, and it limits us. But once we do that, we can discover we've got new skills, we've got new talents, we can move forward, we'll be shown a new direction, and we're going to be really proud of ourselves, be able to pat ourselves on the back and say, I've done well, I've really done well. Because this is a spiritual journey as well as anything else. It's a journey of understanding yourself, understanding other people, and realizing that none of us are perfect. And it's really the intention that matters. And if somebody intentionally hurts you, just, for your own peace of mind, forgive them. Because if you don't forgive them, it's only you that is being affected. It's not them. They don't care. You're affecting yourself by not forgiving. So if you can just say, okay, I understand there's something they did, and it's not acceptable. I'm not going to carry that. I'm not going to rent out space in my head to this person. I'm just going to put it down to experience. I'm going to move on, but I will not be, I will never, I know I won't be able to trust that person. So I will now just move on and put it down to experience. And that's the best way. And then you can be really proud of yourself, and you have freedom for the future. So there's the cards.
I will agree that it's all about freedom. This is sticky, and I help a lot of my clients. I guide and coach my clients through forgiveness in so many areas. And I see it as like 3 separate areas of forgiveness: forgiveness of self, And in which case, I would recommend going back and watching the episodes about guilt and regret that Sue and I have done, because there's a lot about forgiveness of self in those videos. There's also the forgiveness of the person that may have done something to you, whether it's a coworker or in a relationship or a family member. And that's the kind of forgiveness that Sue is basically talking about with this reading. And then, of course, there's the really egregious events that we're being called to forgive. And I want to caution you that you've got to find it in your heart. If counselors and therapists and religious leaders are calling on you to forgive, and you haven't found a way to do that yet, that's okay. Because sometimes the pressure of being forced to forgive can be really painful. So you will develop this over time. So go easy with yourself and on yourself, because it's so hard to force yourself into something that you don't feel in the moment. So I want to take you off the hook in that regard. Forgiveness is also deeply rooted in religion, and a lot of people have deep, long roots, deep-seated issues with religious structure, not so much spirituality, not so much God. I'm talking about the religious structure. So go easy on yourself regarding that as well, because a lot of people have a lot of baggage around that as well. And the last few episodes, I also spoke about clearing out the closet. And that's the image I got when Sue was doing her cards, reading the cards, was about cleaning out the closet of your heart, cleaning out the closet of your emotions. Because when you do find the ability to forgive, it does open up unlimited possibilities for moving forward. I want to, and this is a really hard thing to consider, especially when something really egregious has happened to you or to a family member. But I believe that we all are purposefully creating, sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious, the lives that we're leading now. So every situation that comes to us has a purpose. And sometimes it's to grow, sometimes it's to take a step back, sometimes it's to meet new people, sometimes it's to heal, sometimes it's to be hurt so we can heal. All of those growth things happen in our journey. And so I don't ever look at anything that happens to me as me being the victim of him or the victim of her or the victim of that circumstance. So if you look at yourself as a co-conspirator in the events around your life or the relationships around your life, it helps you to create more purposefully. It helps you to set your vision for what you want. And it helps you to not become in situations where you have to forgive someone when you understand that they're a player in your story as you are in theirs. So,
yeah, I'm finding that there's so much more emotion at the moment, and I'm talking about maybe the last 20 years. It's kind of been building up and building up, and it's like we're all being asked to heal, and we're all being asked to wake up to the human condition and to our spiritual natures. And I liken it to a race. And there's some of us that started the race when the gun went off. We started our spiritual race. We knew these days of earth changes and things were coming. And so we started to work on ourselves, work through our issues, to kind of work through jealousy, work through envy, work through all these different emotions. over the years, and we've dealt with them. And then as soon as we dealt with one, another one came up, and then the first one revisited just to make sure we were really over it. And then we tried, then we found we weren't, and so then another one. But we've been doing this, and there are many of you out there watching this who've also been on this journey of discovering who we are on a soul level rather than just on a physical level in this lifetime. And then there are people that haven't done that journey. It's been purely material, purely you can do material and spiritual. They're not kind of mutually exclusive, but some just focus on material, and the spiritual has no interest to them at all. It's purely about getting the material life that they want. But as time is going on and things are changing, some of those people are also waking up to the fact that there's something deeper and more meaningful. Sometimes it can be a disaster, like losing all their money, losing their great job, or being exposed for different things, and their world comes crashing down around them for one reason or another. And that is how they suddenly realize there's more to life than just kind of the money and the material things. And they're waking up, but we've got the finish line ahead of us. So the people that have been working for many years in order to be prepared for this finish line are cruising more, because we've gone through the pain of discovery. We've gone through our shame and our guilt and our different vulnerabilities and things, like Brené Brown. She's brilliant at all that. I highly recommend you check her out. But we don't have to speed up so much because we've done a lot of the work. But the people now are having to speed up, and that's why so many people are getting hammered with one thing after the other. They get through one thing, then another thing turns up which they have to deal with, and it's like an overwhelm. It's a panic. Oh my God, I never thought of this, and this has turned up. And so I think the world is getting much more hyper because of all these things. I think there's I also work with Native American cards, and they've got one kind of the field. There's a cornucopia of ideas and things that and we all kind of get different ideas that are sent to us for us to fulfill and get onto our correct journeys. So a lot of times people are finding that the life they've been living is actually not what they agreed to come here to do. So there's a lot of adjustments, and there's a lot of panic. And so I think it's really important just to be kind to yourself. Be prepared to understand that, you didn't do something last month because you didn't even know you could do it, or you hadn't got that understanding. And it goes back again to some of our previous videos. When you don't have the understanding, you can't beat yourself up about not doing it. It's only when you've got the understanding, you choose not to do it, then it's like, okay, do you want to...
battling your intuition. You're battling yourself.
Absolutely. So it's yeah. Anyway, if you'd like to repeat the question, now I've rambled on enough.
No, it's easy. What is forgiveness?
There you go. Now you have it. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and found it informative. And as Carrie said, please do share this if you think it will be of help to other people, and subscribe. We hope we're being helpful anyway. Okay. Yep. Bye from me.
Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.